Hi everyone. I'm going to show you how to make Excel really easy. A lot of people worry about Excel. They think it's going to be difficult, but it isn't really. I'll show you. Let's get started. I'm going to click on my Excel document I have here. I'm going to start off by showing you how to do the most basic formulas, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and even an average formula. Okay, I'll show you how to enter data in a minute, but I just want to show you how a spreadsheet works. We have a list of numbers here, and we want to add those up. Now, it's very simple to do that. We were going to enter a formula to do it. We have to tell the computer exactly what to do. We want to add up what's in cell B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, and put the answer in this cell right here, B10. When you want words, you type words. When you want numbers, you type numbers. But if you want an answer, you must type an equal sign to tell it it's a formula. So in B10, I'll press equal, tell it to enter a formula. I want to add together what's in B4, so I'm going to type B4, well, let me get capitals. It doesn't have to be capitals. B4 plus what's in B5, B5 plus what's in B6, plus what's in B7, plus what's in B8, plus what's in B9. So what we're telling the computer is take what's in cell B4, add it to what's in B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, and to get the answer we have to enter the formula. You can do it several ways. You can press the enter key. I'd like you to get used to clicking this enter box up above in the upper left hand corner. Click the enter key, and that is the total of those numbers. Rather time consuming. Let's do it a better way. I'm going to do this one again. I'm going to press equal to tell it it's a formula, and I want to add together what's in B4 to B9. So I can just click on B4, hit the plus sign, click on B5 plus, B6 plus, B7 plus, B8 plus, B9. No more pluses because we're all done. Now that's a lot easier way, and it ensures that you get the right cells by clicking on them rather than typing them. Okay, that's what I want to add up, those numbers in those cells, and again I'll click the enter key, and there's the same number. Now here's an even better way to do it. If you're going to add numbers that are contiguous to each other, that is, they all touch each other, all the cells touch each other, you can't have a gap in between. If you do, it won't work. But I'm going to click where it says answers. I want to add those numbers. So I'm going to go up to the function button where it says auto sum, upper right hand corner, click, and I'm going to choose sum. Now it asks me, it says, oh, sum means to add. Do you want to sum up from B4 through B9? And the answer is yes, that is what I want to add. Be careful, because those numbers shown may not always be the right ones, but in this case they are. So I'll click the enter formula button, and there you have it. Now you might say, well, why did you show us 4 different ways when this last way was the best? Well, it's because you'll be using formulas in many different instances, and you'll use one way one time and another way another time. But the auto sum is a very helpful function. Let's go over now to column C, and I want to subtract $789 from $1,200 something, whatever that is there. So I'm going to click, and I want my answer to go in cell C10. Now I have to enter a formula to do that. All formulas must begin with an equal sign. So I press equal, and rather than typing the numbers, I'm just going to click on them. I want to click on C4, and I want to subtract from that what's in C5. So I'm going to click on C5. And see how it built the formula by clicking on it? Very easy. Now I'll click the enter button, and there it is. The total is 466.15. Now let's go to multiplication in column D. I want my answer in D10. I want to multiply 600 times 3, so the answer will be 1800. So in cell D10, I press equal to tell it's a formula. I click on the number I want multiplied. Then I enter the operation symbol for multiply, which is a capital 8, shift 8, which is an asterisk. So I want D4 times D3. I'm sorry, D5. D4 times D5. That's all there is to it. Click the enter box, and my formula shows up. There's the answer. Now, on this last one, I want to divide these two, 4,000 divided by 10. So I want the answer to go in cell E10, so I click in cell E10. Now, I want to calculate out a formula, which is an answer, which is I need a formula. Press equal to tell the computer it's a formula. I click on E4, and it typed it for me, and I want to divide that, which is the slash mark, and I want to divide it by what's in E5. And I'll click the checkbox, and there's my answer. 10 into 4,000 is 400. Now, let's take this next one. Now, I could go and do equal, and that I'd have to hit this one plus 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 this one. Now, if you do an average, you'd have to average up each of the individual numbers and then divide it by how many there are. Well, now you have to count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. But in order to do it, I've got to start off first by putting the word sum, because I need to add up those numbers, put a parenthesis, and end the row of numbers with another parenthesis, and divide it by, how many did I say? I can't remember. I'm going to count up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divided by 6 numbers. So the formula tells it to sum up these, F4 through F9, and then when that's totaled up, the next function is to divide that answer by 6. And you'll see when I click the checkbox, I get the right answer. But it's kind of time consuming. So you have to know when to use the automatic formulas. So I'm going to go back up to the auto sum button again and click, and I have different functions that I can use that are automatically created. Here's the function for average. I'll click on average, and it automatically says, do you want to find the average F4 down through F9? And always check. Don't just click OK, because many times it does not display the exact numbers you're looking for. But these are correct, so click the checkbox. Bingo, there we are. And so that's how you enter basic formulas. Now, let's go on to, I've got to move this. Let's see if I can move this box here. I need to get at something. Here we are. There we are. Okay, now let's go to the next spreadsheet, data entry. I'm going to click here to get to my next one. Here we are. And this one here, I just want to show you, when you want to type words in a spreadsheet, you type words in whatever cell you want. When you want numbers in those cells, you type numbers. Now this is very straightforward. I've already done it, but I'm going to add in a missing student here. So I want a word. So I type J-O-E, all right, I press tab, and so when I type words appear. Now I want to type his score. He got in the word processing unit, which was 98. That's great. And I can either click the checkbox up here to enter it, or I can do like in this next one. He got a 90 in the next grade. I can simply use the enter key, but it enters it, but it also goes down to the next line. So the easiest thing to do in this case, the next score was 78, and I can use the right arrow key, and it enters it and goes over to the next line. Okay, now let me delete these up for a second. They shouldn't be there at this time. Okay, at this point, now I want to add up the total. So remember what I said, when you type words appear. When you type numbers appear. But if you want an answer to appear, you have to type an equal sign. But in this case, I want to add up these 4 numbers. So I'm going to go over to the auto sum button and click once, and it shows me, do you want to add B4 through B7? Yes, that's correct. So click again. And notice that automatically it put an equal sign in front of the formula, because it has to have an equal sign to mean it's a formula. Click OK. Now I could go to this next one, click here, and go auto sum, click. I go to the next one, auto sum, click, and whatever. But that's not a good way to do it. Let me show you a good way to do this. Okay, let's redo this now. I want to total up the word processing unit scores. So I'm going to go off the auto sum button once, and it displays it for me. Yep, that's right, so click again. Now, once I have that formula, I can click at the bottom in cell B8 and drag it across, and it will copy the formula correctly into the next cells. Now, that may not seem like a big thing to you, but if you're copying across maybe 50 entries across, you only type the formula once and copy it 49 times over with a single keystroke. So it's important to know how to do that. Let me show you why that worked. Because you'll see in B8, the formula said to sum up what's in B4 through B7. And it gave you the right answer. Now, when you copy it over, it copies the formula relative to the cell beside it. Now, in cell C8, I'm adding up the C4 through C7. And when I come over to the next column in the D, I'm adding up the D4 through D7. So see how it works? When you do the formula for the B column and copy it over to the right, it automatically adjusts the formula from B's for the B column to C's to the C column and D's to the D columns. That's a powerful feature. It cuts down processing time enormously. Now, let me total up the scores across. I've got the total of all the scores down the bottom. Now I want to total the scores across. I want Joe's total points he has so far in C and E4. Now, once again, since I'm adding, I can go up and use the auto sum button, click once, and see it says, oh, do you want to add up B4 through D4? Yes, it is correct. Don't assume it's right, because it's often it is not the right formula, and you'll see when it happens, and you just adjust it as necessary. All right, so in this case, I'll click the auto sum button a second time, and there's the answer. You got 266 points. And again, instead of going to the next one and calculating, and a next one on the formula, a next one on the formula, a next one on the formula, I'm just going to go to the one I just did, and I'm going to copy it down. I put my cursor until it becomes a small, see that small plus sign it becomes, tiny crosshair, click and drag down, and it copied the formula down. Now, I'll show you the formulas again, and as I did, and when I added up row 4, it said, do you want to sum up B4 through D4? Yes, it did. When I went to the next one, notice I already went from 4s, it went to row 5 for the next one, row 6 for the next one, row 7 to the next one, row 8 for the next one. So that's called relative cells. When you copy the formula down, it adjusts the formula on the next line relative to the cell above it. So that's how that is done. Now let's get the average score. And I hope you get this idea by now. To get the average score, I'm going to come over and I'm going to use the auto sum button that shows all the formulas. I want to choose average, so I click average, and it enters the formula for average. I want to find the average score that Joe got for the word processing unit, word processing exam, and Excel unit. Now, am I all set to click OK for the answer? No, I am not. I want to total up. Now this says, oh, you want to average of B4 through B4, C4, D4, and E4. That's not right. I don't want E4 in the calculation. I want only Joe's scores. To fix it, I could simply come over here and change this to make it, instead of being going to column E, it's supposed to end with column D. So I'll press D4 instead. Well, make it capital so you see what I'm doing. D4. Okay, and now that is correct, and there's the average score. And again, I can just copy this formula down because it's the same formula down, the average. And so that's how that is done. You know, I don't like how Salem State University looks. I want to center that. Right now, you know, I'd first ask you this. What do I have in cell B1? I might ask you that. Look at it right now. What do I have in cell B1? And if you think there are letters there, there aren't. I'm going to click in B1 and show you. See, there's nothing there. Look at the formula bar. There's nothing there. Well, where is it then? I'm going to click in A1. You'll see in cell A1 is this title. In B1, there's nothing. See, the data is in A1, but it's spilled over into B1. Now, a lot of times, to make the heading look better, I'm going to highlight A across to F, column F. And I'm going to go up to this button called Merge and Center. It will merge column A, B, C, D, and E together and center the name. So that's how you do that. That's something you'll be coming up with shortly. Okay, let's go on now to assignment number 1 that you have to do in your assignment list, the actual spreadsheet that you will go to. So in assignment 1, let's go here. Now, in that assignment, you'll follow the directions in the book. Go follow my directions from the assignment list. It tells you just what to do. But to keep things, to show you what I want to show you, it'll take a lot less time if I show you what it looks like after you get done copying. Now, I know you can click on a cell and type words. I know you can click and type all these words. Just click on the cell, type whatever the words are. Okay? I know you can type in these words. Just go to the cell, type in the words. And I know you can type in these numbers. Now, the textbook is going to give you exactly what you see. It'll give you the title, it'll give you the next line, it'll give you the words to type across here, it'll give you the words to type here, and it will also give you all the amounts to type in. That will be given to you. Now, what you're going to have to do is once you type in the data, now you do Excel work. What you're going to do is you're going to total up the Allentown, total up, this is a, some fundraiser thing, and they raise their money through corporate donations, direct mail, fund runs through the government, and phone-a-thons, okay? And in Allentown, they collected this money from that method. So let's total up. How much did Allentown collect in total? So we're going to come over to the Auto Sum button and choose Sum. And do you want to sum up B5 through B9? Yes, that's right. So click Auto Sum a second time. There's my answer. Now, the same formula that I have here, where I have B5 through B9, the next formula is going to be the same here, only it's going to be C5 through C9. The next one will be D5 through D9. The next will be E5 through E9. But what I can do to save myself a lot of trouble is, once I have that formula done, I'll just drag it across. And there we go. And if I show you the formulas, here it is. B5, C5, D5, E5. Again, that's called the relative cell. When we copy it, it copies the formula over relative to the cell beside it. It adds a column as it goes across. Now, let's total corporate donations for all sources. And again, we're going to use AutoSum once. And it says, do you want to sum up those numbers? And yes, they are what we want. I check carefully. They are the right ones. So I click AutoSum the second time, and there's my answer. And just like before, I'm going to copy it down to here. And there is how you complete the spreadsheet. Now, once this is done, I want to show you, these numbers here don't look good. These are dollars and cents. So we should have, the proper method to do it is have dollar signs on the first row and dollar signs on the second row. So I'm going to go up to where the number, where it says number. And I'm going to click dollar sign button because I want those to be dollar signs. Because proper accounting, you should have dollar signs at the top and dollar signs at the bottom. You don't want dollar signs in the whole thing. You'll see how this looks so ridiculous if I put dollar signs. It's a whole bunch of dollar signs. So make sure that you follow the textbook, and your best way to ask yourself if you're doing it right is look at the picture in the book. It always shows you what the problem looks like when it's done, and make yours look like that. Now, to turn these back into dollars and cents without the dollar signs, I hit the number where it says comma style, comma. Okay? And so that's how you complete that spreadsheet. Now, the next part of that assignment is you are asked to prepare a chart or a graph. And you'll do that by, they want you to chart each source of income, which was from each town. And they want it for each individual source. Like we got it from corporate, direct, fund runs, government, and you want it for each of the sources as well. So to create this chart, we highlight the area we want to chart. Now I want to stress right from the start, this is what students do wrong all the time. They highlight what they think is what you're supposed to chart, and they go over and they include this total column. This totals is wrong, because when you're doing a chart, you want to compare one number to another. And if you include the totals in that chart, it throws everything else way out of whack. The totals columns are huge, and all the other sources of revenue look to be tiny compared to it. So only include what you're asked to do. Now, you were asked to do the sources of income and the towns that they came in from. Only that. Do not include the total line at the bottom. Do not include the totals on the side. Very important. Now, you've highlighted the area to chart. Now you go up to the Insert button, and you come over to Charts. Now, I'm telling you that I want a column chart, so click on the down arrow, and the book tells you that they want you to do a 3D column, and they tell you to use this first one. So we'll use 3D column. Click, and there you go. Now there's your chart, but this isn't very good. It's sitting on top of the data, so I need to move it. So I move the cursor until it becomes a four-way. See the four-way arrow? Turns into a four-way arrow on it. Click and drag it down, and it's not going to look too good. I'm going to have to click and go to the edge, and go to any one of the four edges. Click off of it first, I guess. Yeah, click off of it, and then click back on it and get the one of the four corners. I want to drag it wide and narrow. There we are. And now I'll click back on it and move it where it needs to be so it looks kind of nice. Okay, there it goes. So that's how you insert a chart. Now, one more thing. I really want a title on this chart. So I'm going to go up to where it says Data. Whoops, I gotta highlight the chart first. Sorry. Whoop. I'm gonna highlight the chart. Yeah, highlight the chart, and I'm gonna go up to Design. I'm sorry, it's Design. I click Design View, and in the Design tab, we go to the Layout tab. The Layout tab. So you'll be on the Layout tab, and over here where it's under Labels, we're going to choose Layout tab, and under that we go to Chart Title. Click on that. Right now there's none, so I want to go down and I want mine to be above the chart. So I'm going to click above the chart, and now I type in the title, and this is I'm going to type Sources of Donations, and they'll tell you whatever chart title you want. I click on that, and there you go. One final thing I'd like to show you is this. Sometimes they're going to ask you to put the chart will be so big they want it on a separate sheet all by itself. So if that's what they want, when you click on this and you go to Layout, let me see, Design. Yeah, you're going to have to click on the Design tab. You'll highlight the chart, click on the Design tab, and over in the right-hand column where it says Move Chart Location, click on that, and it will say, do you want it as an object in? Well, that's what it is right now. It's an object in the spreadsheet, but it's really too big. It really should be on its own sheet. So I'm going to click on New Sheet, and I'll label this, Donation Chart, and I'll click OK. And notice now it's on its own sheet. It's a lot easier to read, and that's sometimes they ask you to do that, sometimes not. So that's it at this point. Good luck, and that's the end of this particular part of the video. Thank you very much.